We will be finding the center and radius by completing the square. We're going to take equations that don't look like circles as we know them, and we're going to rewrite them. In the last video, equations were given in standard form, and that form, for a reminder, is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. So if the equation doesn't look like this, we're going to have to use some methods to rewrite it to look like this. And those methods that we use are completing the square. So what you'll be given is an equation in general form. So let's take a look at that. We would be given something like, we're going to put it in general form, we would be given something like x squared plus y squared plus dx, where d is a constant, plus ey plus f equals 0. You'll be given something like that. And we'll approach these problems in the general form by subtracting or adding the constant term as needed and grouping the x and y terms together. And we will have something that looks like this. Y squared plus ey will equal negative f. And now, once we get to that point, we will complete the square. And just to keep it nice and general, we're going to divide d by 2 and square it. That's a completing the square technique. It's not the focus of this video. So if you're not aware how to complete the square, you may want to review that. But you complete the square by dividing this. This is your x side and this is your y side. And now you'll plug these back in, and what you'll get back to is a form where it looks like what you recognize. And you'll be able to use that form. Well, let's not get that far in the general form. What you'll do is basically get to a form that looks like this. And you'll be able to just read this and know where your center is and what your radius is. I don't want to confuse you with the general form. I just want to give you an idea of what we're going to be doing. And once we get to doing it with numbers, well, it's going to be very clear to you by the end of this video how to do these problems. So let me get the first problem up there. So here we are, x squared plus 6x plus y squared equals 4. So we're going to want to group our x terms together. And we're going to want to complete the square on those x terms. We have nothing on the y term to complete the square with. So we'll do 6 divided by 2, and we'll square that. And we'll add it to our x term, and we'll add it to the right side. So 6 divided by 2 is 3, and when we square it, it becomes 9. And whatever we do to the left, we must do to the right. So we then have a perfect square trinomial, x squared plus 6x plus 9 plus y squared equals 9 plus 4 is 15. So we factor these x terms to get x plus 3 squared plus y squared equals 15. And now we've gotten to standard form, where we can use our knowledge of reading equations to find that the center is, the x is negative 3 and the y is 0. That's the center of our circle, and we find our radius. As you remember, our radius is, or our term over here is our radius squared. So we have to find the root of that, the square root of that. So it's the square root of 15. Okay, let me erase this, and I'll put another problem up there. Okay, here's our next equation. Go ahead, try this one for yourself. Okay, so we've grouped. We've already got our terms grouped and our constant on one side, so that saves us a step. What we're going to do is complete the square, and we do that by taking the b term, here's our b term, and dividing it by 2. So 4 divided by 2 squared, and this is our x, and then we have our y, which is 2 divided by 2 squared. All right, we'll find 4 divided by 2 is 2, and when we square it, it equals 4. So we add 4 to that side, to the x terms. 2 divided by 2 is 1, squared is 1. So we'll add 1 to these terms. And we add both of those to the right side. So we add 5 to the right side. All right, we now have a perfect square trinomial. X squared minus 4x plus 4 plus y squared plus 2y plus 1 equals 15. What we do from here is factor to get x minus 2 squared plus y plus 1 squared equals 15. Now we've accomplished our objective of finding standard form. We can simply read the standard form equation to find that the center is at 2 and -1, and our radius is again the square root of 15. All right, so that's another example, and you'll notice that this follows the form of x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals the radius squared. Let me erase this and pop up another example. Here's our example. I beg of you to give it a shot for yourself so that you can get some reps in and practice it before I do it. And let's get to it. So, as always, we're going to get the constant term on the right, but now we're also going to want to group the x's together. So we need to rewrite it as such. X squared plus 8x plus y squared minus 6y. So we reorganized it, equals -9. Go ahead and put these in parentheses, and we're going to complete the square on these two terms. So our x side is 8 divided by 2 squared, and our y side is 6 divided by 2 squared. So we have 8 divided by 2 is 4, and when we square that, that's 16. So we add 16 to the x's, and then 6 divided by 2 squared, we add 9 to the y terms. We add them both over on this side, and that gives us 25. We add 25. All right, now we rewrite it as two perfect square trinomials. 8x plus 16 plus y squared minus 6y plus 9 equals -9 plus 25 will be 16. Okay, now we can get this to become x plus 4 squared plus y minus 3 squared equals 16. Now we've gotten it to standard form, and we can find that our center is at -4 and 3, and our radius is the square root of 16, which is a nice even whole number of 4. Center, -4 and 3, radius 4. All right, let's move on to another example. All right, our next example is here. If you're a brave lass or lad, go ahead and try it for yourself. All right, let's isolate our constant term onto the right side, and let's go ahead and group our x and y terms. Okay, so we now have, let's rewrite it, x squared minus 2x plus y squared plus 10y equals -13. Let's take 2 divided by 2 and square it. And for the y side, we need to take 10 divided by 2 and square it. So that means on our x side here, we're going to have 2 divided by 2 squared, which is 1. We're going to add 1. 10 divided by 2 squared is 5 squared. So we're going to add 25 on the right side. Well, we're going to add both of those on the right side, and we add 25 to the y terms. Okay, so now we have a perfect square trinomial of x squared minus 2y to x plus 1 plus y squared plus 10y plus 25 equals positive 13. Now that we've gotten to this point, we simply factor these two where we have the squaring happening outside the parentheses, which means we'll have x minus 1 squared plus y plus 5, y plus 5 squared equals 13. We've now written it in standard form, so let's find our center and our radius. Our center is going to be at 1 and negative 5, and our radius is going to be the square root of 13. All right, let's do one final example. And there it is, our final titular question, what we've all been waiting for, what we've built up to. I implore you to pause the video, give this one a try for yourself. Now that you're back, I'm sure this challenged your skills, and I'm going to do it myself. Let's, as always, take it one step at a time to isolate the constant term. It may look complicated, but if you just take it one step at a time, you can do it. So let's also group our x terms together. So we have x squared plus 6x. Let's go ahead and put that in parentheses, plus y squared in parentheses minus 4y equals positive 12. Let's complete the square for each of these independently. So we get 6 divided by 2 squared for the x side. And now for the y side, we get 4 divided by 2 squared. And we're going to add those to our terms. So we have 6 divided by 2 is 3. We square it, which gives us 9. And for the y terms over here, we have 4 divided by 2, which is 2, squared is 4. We're going to add both of those on the right side. So plus 4 plus 9, which is 13, plus 13. We now have two perfect square trinomials, plus 6x, plus 9, plus y squared, minus 4y, plus 4 equals 25. All right, let's factor those. So we get x plus 3 squared plus y minus 2 squared equals 25. All right, great. We've gotten to standard form. So let's write our center, which will be the point negative 3 and the point 2. That is the center of our circle. And now we will find our radius, which is going to be a nice even whole number, the square root of 25, which is 5. So there is our final problem. Now, when completing the square and finding the center and radius by doing so, it looks complicated, but if you just approach it patiently and take it step by step, I know you can do it. Thank you for joining me. If you found something useful from this video, if it helped you understand a concept you didn't, please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.